Roll of Thunder is told from a first-person perspective of a 9-year-old girl called Cassie Logan, and she's really charting a year in her family's life living in Mississippi in the South in 1933. And she's really talking about some key events that happened, and I think it's very much a story to do with growing up and her growing up and realising that she has had quite a naive and sheltered upbringing, and yet there are key things, main events that bring her out of that and make her realise that the South isn't this sort of, you know, quite gentle, sort of fun-loving place where she could sort of run freely in the woods and so on. She really learns some of the real harsh realities of what a lot of the black children, again, had to deal with in the South. The end of chapter 8, what was it that happened to Mama Logan? What happened to Mama Logan at the end of... Okay, right, she got fired. What was she teaching? She was teaching about slavery. Is slavery, would that be part of the school curriculum in Mississippi in 1933? Would the white people want the black children and teachers to be learning about these things?
No. But yeah, miss, the children got to learn about the past and then how black people were treated back in them times. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Mama Logan would agree. Why wouldn't the school board agree with that? I think it's really important that stories of the South that are often to do with racism are actually told by black writers. And as Mildred D. Taylor, you know, is a black writer, she's an African-American writer. She's writing about experiences that I believe were based on her own history and her own stories. I think it's really important. This text is obviously going to be authentic in terms of some of the real situations that face some of the black people in the South. So, she's lost her job. What impact will this have on the Logan family? What do you think?
They might lose their farm.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really important. Land is really, really important to the Logans. Are they really wealthy landowners?
No, the money that they get for
that's the rent money.
For working, that's the rent money for the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they're going to do with the buying food.
Exactly, that's their mortgage money. Where does Papa Logan have to travel to? Is one of the questions from last lesson. Louisiana, absolutely. Papa Logan has to travel all the way to Louisiana to, again, make money. He works away from his family. So we know that the Logan family, even though they have their own land, which is very, very different, they still have to work for it. Roll of Thunder is a fantastic text to really get to grips with the social and historical and cultural context. I think Mildred D. Taylor does a very good job of painting the picture of how important land is. And I think it's a really important lesson, I think, for black people here and in America about having this sense of a strong sense of identity and heritage and lineage. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, this sense that, you know, I was raised on this land, as was my grandfather and your great-grandfather before him, and so on. This group are going to be doing their presentation based on segregation, and then you're going to get questions based on it, so make sure you listen very carefully. Within this unit of work, the students have to do some micro-teaching. So in groups of 3 and sometimes 4, they were each given an element of history, African history, black history and so on, that they had to go away and research and then present.
Welcome to our micro-teaching. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you listen carefully.
Who was the boy that got beaten at Mississippi in 1955 that was beaten to death?
Emmett Till.
The group today we're looking at segregation, and so you'll see that, you know, one of the students has written a poem in terms of how she felt about segregation, researched some information about segregation, and then asked the students some simple questions, you know, just to again show that they were listening and engaging in the text.
How did segregation start?
Was it when when slavery stopped?
Micro-teaching, again, is this whole notion of making the students much more proactive in their learning, letting them go away and research and find things out independently. And then, of course, they have to think about how to put it together. So they have to think about their learning and the learning of the students. So I think that's a really important task for them to take part in.